So, hi everyone. I'm happy to talk about privacy by design today. Privacy by design is an ongoing topic in the ILIAS community, and it's one we need to address sustainably because it won't go away. In my talk, I want to share why it matters, what the principles are, and how we can make them work in practice. Before we dive in, let me briefly walk you through what I'm going to cover in the next minutes. First, we will ask, why does privacy matter? Then we will have a look at the concept of privacy by design and its core principles. We will move into practice with doing it better. I will show you concrete measures we can take in ILIAS to improve privacy protection. We will have a look at the privacy checklist that I created especially for everyone who writes a feature request. The checklist is meant as a practical tool for all who write feature requests, and you also have the chance to comment on it on GitHub. I will show the QR code later. Then we will talk about what you can personally do in your daily work, and finally I will address the privacy clinic. Somehow a community space for sharing questions and ideas around data protection. So let's start with the question why privacy matters. There are three key reasons. The first reason is trustworthiness. Privacy builds trust. If our users know that their personal data is safe, they are more likely to engage with ILIAS openly. Teachers will feel more confident creating and uploading materials, and students will feel comfortable participating because they know that the platform is safe. The second reason is legal compliance. Of course, we also have to follow the law. Regulations like the GDPR set clear rules about how personal data must be handled. And if we fail to meet these regulations and requirements, institutions may risk not only fines, but also serious reputational damage. And legal compliance is not an option. It is the baseline we all must meet. The third reason is sustainability. It's the main part of the topic today. Privacy is not just about today or a single project. It is about building systems and processes that last. And if we integrate privacy, creating long-term, if we integrate privacy into ILIAS in a sustainable way, we can avoid short-term fixes, and instead we create long-term trust and stability for the community. So having looked at the reasons, let's turn to the principles that guide us. Privacy by design is built on 7 core principles. The first principle is to be proactive, not reactive. To be proactive, not reactive. Yeah. Privacy should not be something we think about after problems arise. Instead, it has to be built in from the beginning, anticipating risks before they even arise or happen. The second reason is privacy by default. This means that the most privacy-friendly option should always be the default. Users shouldn't have to go through complicated menus to protect their data. The system should protect them automatically. The third reason is to embed privacy into design. Privacy must be part of the architecture itself. It cannot be an extra layer we add later. It has to be considered at every stage of development. The fourth principle is functionality. Privacy shouldn't be seen as a limitation on innovation. We can have both a system that is functional, powerful, and innovative, and at the same time respects privacy. The fifth reason is end-to-end security. Data needs to be protected during its entire life cycle. From the moment it is collected, while it is stored and processed, and until the moment data is deleted. The sixth principle is visibility and transparency. People must be able to see what happens with their data. Processes must be open, and institutions must be accountable, and transparency builds trust. And the last principle is the user centricity. At the end of the day, privacy is about people. systems should be designed with the needs and the dignity and the rights of users in mind. And these 7 principles gives us a clear framework of how to integrate privacy in ILIAS in a meaningful way and in a sustainable way. So principles are helpful, but how do we put them in practice in ILIAS? On this slide, I want to move from principles to practice. One important measure is data minimization by default. We should only collect and store data that is really necessary for the system to function. So every data field, every unnecessary log entry increases risk, and by minimizing data, we reduce complexity, we reduce risk, and we build more trust. Another measure is logging with pseudonymization, and we need logs to monitor the system, to detect problems and to improve performance, but logs do not need always to contain personal identifiers. By pseudonymizing the data, we can still gain valuable insights while protecting the identity of users. The third aspect is configurable privacy settings. Users shouldn't only be protected by default, but they should also have the possibility to adjust their own privacy options. For example, whether they want to be visible in certain areas or how much their activity can be shared, and empowering users with clear understanding settings creates trust and gives them some agency. And finally, documented deletion and retention. It is not enough to delete data occasionally or just from time to time without a clear plan. We need to implement clear schedules for how long data is stored and when it will be deleted. And we need to document these processes so that they are transparent and verifiable in the end. So to introduce the privacy checklist, let me just go back for a moment. I don't know if you attended my talk last time at the 43rd ILIAS Development Conference. I asked you, what do you need to make data protection a permanent part of your development process? And as you can see, 95% of the participants, we had 83 participants in this question, answered clear guidance and best practices. So that is why I created this checklist. It is meant to help you answer the privacy section in a feature request by asking the right questions at the right time. So here you will see the privacy checklist. It will focus for the first part on 4 keys. It's data processing, defaults and control, access and roles, and deletion and storage limitation. I won't go through all the questions here. You have the QR code on the top right corner. You can scan it now or later, and can give some comments on it and go through all the questions. But what this means in practice now is we need to check what kind of data is processed, whether defaults are protective enough, who actually have access to which information, how long the data remains in the system. And these 4 questions sound simple, but they are, already cover the main critical points of data protection. And here you find the second part of the checklist, which continues with 4 additional areas for export and access requests, logging and analytics, third parties and interfaces, and documentation and communication. And together with the first part, these points make sure that we don't forget the bigger picture. They remind us that privacy is not only about storing less data, but also about how users can access their data, how we handle logs responsibly, and how transparent we are in our communication, and how carefully we treat external services and integrations. In short, the checklist provides us with a structured way to make privacy concrete and verifiable in practice, and I would really encourage you to go through and see if it fits your way of working, if it helps writing in feature requests. So please feel free to give some comments on it. We already have some comments. On this slide, I would like to highlight what each of us can do to strengthen privacy in ILIAS. The first point is mindset, I would say. We need to think privacy from the start. Privacy is not a checkbox at the end of development. It is a way of thinking that should guide our decisions and from the beginning. The second point is dialogue. Ask questions early and often. Whenever you design, develop, or request a new feature bring privacy into conversation right away. Don't wait until the end and when changes are harder to make. The third point is quality. We should treat privacy as a quality marker, just like accessibility or usability. A system that protects privacy is not only compliant, it is also better, more trustworthy, and also sustainable. And finally, community. Use and contribute, if you want to the Privacy Clinic. It is a space where we can share our challenges, our questions, and our solutions, and none of us has all the answers, but together we can find better ways forward. So please use the Privacy Clinic. A flashback again, I would also like to comment on the privacy MD files. Last time I asked you also if you can imagine creating privacy MDs for your components, and around 80%, the first two parts, said yes, and most of you also mentioned that you would need support and guidance maybe. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us at the Privacy Clinic. We are here to provide guidance and practical help. We together we can write these texts together, or make it easier for you to write it, and also for maintaining it. On this slide, I would like to go explain again what the Privacy Clinic is and how it works. So first of all, it is a place where you can get support from people with experience in data protection and privacy in ILIAS, and you don't have to face questions alone, so you can discuss it and get some ideas or resources to look at. But it is important to be clear, the Privacy Clinic is not a place to receive binding legal advice. Instead, it is a space for best practices and exchanging experiences and for discussing approaches that can help make better decisions regarding privacy. The clinic is about embedding privacy into our work from the start. So privacy design, again, it helps us to integrate the principles by privacy by design into everyday development and configuration decisions. The clinic works only if people bring their questions, so their ideas, their problems. It is not a passive resource. It is a living space that grows with the contribution of the community. So we are here. We are just waiting for you to come and contact us. And at its heart, the Privacy Clinic is about collaboration, as I mentioned. We share our knowledge, we learn from each other, and together we create solutions that are stronger than any of us can develop alone. So if privacy is something you already deal with in your everyday work, or even from time to time, please feel free to join the Privacy Clinic as a privacy expert. Your contribution can really make a difference. You don't have to be like a data protection officer or something to join the clinic. On this slide, I would like to point you to a few useful resources. There's this privacy page on the left, where you can find information around privacy in ILIAS. The Privacy Clinic, which I already mentioned, the group link is here also. And our mission statement, which explains our goals and principles in clear words. On the practical side, there's this guide on how to write a privacy MD. For an overview, I created a data collection table on privacy MDs. This is still a work in progress, but it gives you a good starting point to see which components have already a privacy MD and also which are now work in progress. And finally, the SIG law and e-learning. It is a place also for data protection, like the topic, but there's the focus is especially for privacy in the context of e-learning. So if you are interested in this kind of mixture, you can also join the SIG and participate and contribute there. Thank you very much. And the message I would like to give you as a takeaway is privacy starts with defaults. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliasa. Are there any questions? Maybe to mention, you mentioned the UI, the privacy clinic, so it's Eliasa and it's Xenia, so it's Xenia over there. So these both are running the privacy clinic. Thanks also for that. Questions, comments? No? Just one question I have. Those, I think, 8% that said that they don't need privacy MDs. You know who they are? Have you spoken with them? Would be interested. Yeah, that's always the problem with this anonymous service. We say they are anonymous, but in the end we know who we are. No, kidding. Thank you, Eliasa.